Hey guys, what are we gonna do today?
Make a toolbox.
We're gonna make a toolbox. Well, it'd be nice if we could make the whole toolbox, but let's just get started on it. Let's see what we can knock out. So I was thinking maybe we would attach the first end to the bottom, and then we'll attach the first side to the bottom. What do you think?
Okay.
Let's start there, and then we'll see how things go. All right, Angela, I think the first thing we wanna do is, we've got our bench hook here, we've got all our tools, and I think we've got enough screws over there. What kind of screws do you have over there by you, Mosin?
Torx.
Torx screws, right. And then what do we have here, Angela?
Phillips.
Phillips screws. Okay, so, and I see you have the Phillips driver. You've got the Torx driver there. You've got both ends, your bottom, both sides. All right. Well, before we build our toolbox, one thing that's really important in terms of a neat trick, right? A neat trick is sometimes it can be difficult to run those screws in. You know, your hands get tired, and sometimes you hit just a real hard spot. And so it'd be nice if there was a way to lubricate the screw, right? So that the screw goes in a lot easier. And there is something that can lubricate that screw, and it's pretty simple. And you'll find one in most everybody's home. You may not find it in their toolbox, but it will be somewhere in the house. And that's a crayon. Just get a simple crayon, and all you have to do is take the crayon, and it's one stripe. You're not going back and forth. There, I've done it. Just one stripe. You see that? Can you guys see that? Okay? So then I'll come down here. And I like to do all of my screws at one time. And you might wonder why. And the reason is that I don't know when I may have to leave the project and then get distracted with something else. And then I come back the next day and I'll wonder, did I do those screws or didn't I do the screws? In this case, it's easy to see because I've got an orange crayon, so it's easy for me to tell. I still just make a habit to do all of them at the same time. Get it out of the way. So I encourage you to do that on your project as well, okay? One simple stripe. Missed it. Got it there a second time. Okay, would you like to try it? Perfect. Set that one with the other ones. Mosin, would you like to try one? There you go, perfect. And see, the nice thing about a crayon is soft, so it'll stay in the threads. Some people use wax from a candle, but that can be a little bit brittle, and sometimes those will flake off. So a crayon is pretty handy. So we're gonna get all the screws out of the way, and as soon as we do that, we'll start attaching our first end to the bottom. Let's get started. Ready? All right, so why don't we start by loading the bottom. Okay, that's good. It's nice and tight down here, right? In the sweet spot. That's where it's gotta be, so that it's nice and tight on both fences here, the back long fence and the side short fence, right? So the first thing we're gonna do is load what?
The end.
That's right, our first end after the bottom. All right, right? And the bottom's already in there. And Angela's gonna be your buddy and hold everything down. You've got all your weight on this hand because the bench hook wants to slide. And with Angela putting all her weight on this, it's not as likely to slide. And it doesn't matter which hole you start with. Mosin chose the one on the right, and that's good. I really like how you're holding this because the relationship of this first end needs to be, what is that relationship?
Perpendicular.
Perpendicular to what?
The board, the base.
The base, or the bottom, right, right. And we have the end, correct. Okay, so we have one more screw to run in. So, Angela, you want to hold everything down nice and tight? And let's see if he can make that shady spot disappear, right? Very good. You've got your right foot back. You're turning with your right hand. That's how you use a screwdriver. And you're holding the shank with your left hand. The shank being this part. Okay, hang on one second, hang on one second. Wait, Melissa, let's make sure Angela's got that. And holding it down. Is that good? Okay. I'd say that's tight. Mosin, that's sweet. Very, very, very nicely done. Okay, next thing, since we started with the first end, and we're going to attach our first side. But before we do that, hang on one second. Before we do that, go ahead. You go ahead and do what you were going to do there, Angela. How's that?
Good.
Is it? Mosin, what's wrong with that? What do we have to do?
We're gonna have to
sides
line it
are-
up.
Yeah, we can't do that. So the way we avoid that is we
We
take...
turn it 180.
Yeah, that's right. You take the project, you turn it 180 degrees. And now, this is where the bench hook becomes really handy. Go ahead, you want to load that first side. And there you've got the side. How's that look to you, Mosin?
It's not right because the holes go on the bottom.
The holes go on the bottom. Angela, did you do that on purpose? Huh? Okay. So you're just trying to see if I'm paying attention. That's okay. All right, good. So I like the way that seems to be sitting on the bottom, resting firmly on the bottom of the bench hook. And Mosin's already jumping in there to really weight that down. I guess you're gonna start turning in. What screws are those again, Angela?
Phillips.
Phillips. Okay, so the order, and this is very important. All the screws go into the toolbox in a certain order. Now, I shouldn't say all because we just put the ends in, that first end in, and it really didn't matter. And that's true. For the ends, there really is no order. It's really going to be on your sides is where it's most important, all right? So let's get the bottom in first because we want to secure this and make sure it's tight to the bottom. Okay? And so he's got his weight holding that down. And it's nice and snug. It's touching this short fence in the back, on the side rather. Good. That's right. She's leaning into her work. Very nice. Her left hand holding the shank of the screwdriver, or some people call it the shaft. Handle's turning very nicely. Looks very comfortable. Feel good? Okay, good. So now let's run this other screw in down here. Okay? She's finger starting the screw in the hole. And then that's it. That's it. Mosin's coming in to make sure that that board doesn't pop up by putting his weight on his left hand. And number 2 screw is, don't let that bench hook slide on you now. There you go. How's that? Is that pretty snug? Okay, so what we've just done here is we've attached the first end to the bottom and the first side, right? But now that we have attached them to the bottom, we need to attach the first side to the, what do we call this? The end, the first end, right? So we don't want to forget to do that. So while it's in the bench hook, let's go ahead and put those 2 screws in. Now, when it comes to putting these in, remember I said there's an order? So we did the bottom ones first, right? Now we're going to come up here and we're going to do the top one in the first end. So, I like that, finger starting it. Mosin, make sure that's tight all the way. Is it all the way tight? There you go, that's better. And I'll get out of your way. Very nice, Angela. That's it, lean into it. I see, that's better now. You're leaning in very well. Good job, very nice, very nice. Very nice, okay, Mosin, very well done. Okay, what do we got to do now?
Now we have to put the bottom screw in.
Let's get that last screw in, right? Yeah, pull that out for her. Pull that out so she can finger start that. Just slide that, Losin. Slide it in. There you go. Now you can set it back. There you go. Very nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. Lean in hard. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, that looks really good. Well, I think we did a nice job on this, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Are you pleased with all the work I did?
Yeah.
All right, well, that's great. Let's take a break right now, and we'll come back and we'll talk about when we're going to do the other side and the other end. And then after that, the only thing that's left is the
Handle.
handle. Bingo. All right.